Welcome to What's Next with Eric Wood, where we will prepare you to make your what's next in life your best yet. Our next guest is Austin Ekeler, and Austin is the running back for the Los Angeles Chargers. And since entering the NFL in 2017, he has been one of the best backs in all of the NFL and an absolute stud in fantasy football based on how he produces every week he's out there. In addition to being a beast on the field, he's an entrepreneur and making a big impact outside of the game, which we will get into. This is going to be a fun conversation that will, without a doubt, have an impact on all of us. If you haven't already, please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you tune in weekly. And also, if you haven't already, go to Amazon and order my book and make a great gift this holiday season. It's called Tackle What's Next, and the link to that is in the show notes. Thanks and enjoy. Austin, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Hey, I appreciate that intro. Good to be here, man. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. I've been a fan of yours from afar, so I'm really excited to dig into this. I've heard you on other platforms. I'm going to try to avoid having you regurgitate stories you've told before, but I want to know this, and I'm always interested in this because there's oftentimes in someone's life, especially when not everything has been given to you. I only got one scholarship offer to college. I become a first-round draft pick. There were certain people that spoke that confidence into me that I could then play at the next level and then eventually make it to the NFL. At what point at a Division II school did you get that confidence that, hey, I can make a living playing this game?
Wow. So the Division II school that I went to, there was no one that really went to the NFL. So I hadn't been or seen anybody do a pro day ever. I didn't see any scouts ever at practice. That was not a thing at Western Colorado. So I really didn't know. I had no idea. I had no relation to the NFL through family or watching it growing up. Had no real desire to even go play in it. I thought my opportunity that was going to be coming up next for me was going to be in my educational space. And so that's what I was really focusing on until after my junior year. My head coach, Jazz Baines, was getting hit up by some of the NFL scouts. And that's when it became one of my realities. And so I had no sight set on it. It just kind of presented itself based off of what I was doing on the field.
Yeah, that's wild. And great on him for seeing that. It's amazing that people didn't see that in you for you to get a scholarship offer, a bigger offer at a Division I school coming out of high school, but that's neither here nor there. And people fall through the cracks, and I get it. Now, it's easy to say with your build now and the type of shape you're in that, like, yes, you look like an NFL running back, but who knows, at 17 years old, maybe
right.
not, but
which, I mean, even then, I mean, I was like 186, which is only like, 10 pounds less than I weigh now. But
wow.
Even my senior year, man, I was like 186, 5'8". I'm still 5'8". I didn't grow anymore. I ran for like 2,300 rushing yards and 43 touchdowns. So I was scoring 5 or 6 touchdowns a game. And still not even one Division I AA came to me with any type of interest. So, like you said, some people fall through the cracks, and, I was one of those people. But the thing that they really couldn't measure, like even all my measurables were good. Like I didn't have bad grades or anything like that. Like I think I had like a 3.3 in high school. So nothing crazy good or bad. But they couldn't measure my mind. They didn't realize that what I lived by was going to carry me so much further in life than any of those measurables could have ever, I guess, brought out of a scouting report, So that's what, you'll hear me, I'm sure come back to throughout the rest of this podcast, but that's what's really taking me off on this trajectory that I'm at right now.
Yeah, and John Wooden, he put the competitive greatness at the top of the pyramid for success. Maybe the greatest coach of all time. He understood that daily competition, that desire to get better daily, to compete daily, is more important than everything else that you're going to bring to the table. And I find it funny how often guys will fall through the cracks going into college, but the NFL, they turn over every stone. They're going to find you. And when you look around an NFL locker room, the lockers don't say Alabama, Texas, Georgia, whatever. It's a Western Colorado. It's a Louisville where I went. It's, Washington, people from all over the country, and they will find you if you're good enough to play in the league. And you talk about that work ethic that got you there. And I love hearing about it and listening to you talk about it before. Give the listeners that haven't heard, where did that work ethic that you carry still to this day? Where did it originally come from?
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it. You talked about competing, and for me, that's really hit home, and I think that's really where it lies within myself. But it's not me in a sense of competing against other people. It was really just me trying to be better than I used to be, right? Just being the better version of me. Can I push myself a little bit further? And I had a bunch of different live scenarios where I was going through that in my life, whether it was, well, let's back up a little bit. So I grew up on a ranch out in Colorado. And so being, on a ranch, you got to work, that in the summer, we're out there building barbed wire fence for my mom's ex-husband's, barbed wire fencing company that he built for highways and railroads. And so I learned how to work hard at a really young age. And so I learned how to basically not complain and put my head down and just go grind. And then I brought that into the competitive space when I was kind of in the rodeo scene, and then got into more mainstream sports as well, and kind of just mixed that. And I had a couple different avenues to grow as far as competitively within myself, within basketball, football, baseball, all these things when I was really, really young, and then started to get older, and it started to have carryover into my mind as far as how I approach things and how I actually had perspective on things that maybe other people thought was hard, but I was like, how could you ever complain? This is not hard. This is just an opportunity for you to get better. When it's talking about working out, I'm talking about things that people don't like to do, like get up early in the morning, like people that are complaining about like how having to go run at practice. Like, no, this is stuff that's going to make you better. Like I'm inviting the hardship because I know I've been through it, and I know what it comes out on the other end is usually something that's more beneficial for yourself. I learned that building fence, right? Being able to put a roof over our head. And so having just this, I guess, buildup of mental stresses on my life that have, and from my perspective of seeing it not as something that I don't want to do, but something that I know is going to be hard, and I'm inviting that hardship because I know I'll be better for myself in the future, has stayed with me through, my high school. And then once I got into college, it just blossomed when it was like, now I have my education in front of me and I can take it any direction I want. And then I had football that I was trying to use to pay for that. And then, carried that to get into the NFL, and then, the opportunities here, and then my mindset stays with me. I wasn't even trying to get into the NFL, but just my mindset presented the opportunity because I was going so hard at what I had at the moment. It presented these results that allowed me to have more options, which the NFL was one, went to that and blossom even more now, you know?
I love that. I love that. And you can make anything a habit. You can make working hard a habit. That was instilled in you at an early age. I was
Yeah.
cutting grass at a cemetery in high school, and there were times where we're in the summer working out at the University of Louisville, and I'm thinking
Yeah.
this isn't that bad. I also had a little brother that never got to walk, talk, or breathe on his own, and he passed when he was 11 years old. So when we're going out for a conditioning session, I'd be telling myself, my little brother never even got to walk in his life. How can I complain about
Right.
running right now?
Right.
You can take that mindset, you can take that work ethic, make it a habit, and then it shows up
Yeah.
everywhere else in your life. It doesn't have to be sports for all those listening out there. And so you come in undrafted into the NFL. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got when I was entering the league was when you go into rookie minicamp as a first rounder, watch how hard some of those undrafted guys work and never be outworked by them. I know how you worked when you got to the Chargers, but when you got there, when was the moment? Was there a specific moment that you say, "Okay, I fit in here and I'm gonna thrive here"?
Not really. Not really. I literally dropped out of my last semester of school right after my senior year, and just I decided that I was going to fully commit to going and training for this opportunity. And then fast forward that into training camp. I had never been around Division I athletes or NFL athletes, like I said, and so this was like my first real comparison of seeing how I lived up to the moment, and if I could compete physically, mentally. And so I pretty much dedicated all my time, probably spent way too much time studying just to make sure that I didn't mess up, because you know how big trust is in the NFL. And I wanted the coach to be able to trust me on the field, and make sure that I could trust myself and I knew what to do out there, because we have Philip Rivers out there, year 17, that knows everything like the back of his hand. And if you're messing up, he's on you about it. And so like there's that, and then just the urge for me to want to take advantage of this opportunity, because I knew the magnitude of the opportunity was the biggest I've ever had in my life. So I pretty much put everything into it. And then even like still to this day, I don't feel like I don't feel like I know where my ceiling is or like where my capabilities are at, because I never expected myself to be in this position. So I kind of still carry that same undrafted mindset that I had when I was younger. That's like, look, I don't know how far or how good I can be, but that's not what pushes me. What pushes me is the principles that got me here and they stay with me today. Is continue to just grind as much as you can to try to milk as much of this opportunity out that you can get. I don't know how far I'll go. I don't know, Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame, and even next year. It's like, let's take advantage of right now, put everything into that, and then we could deal with the options and try to take advantage of those when those present themselves. So I'm still chasing that moment, like yes, like I've made it, which I don't think I can ever reach that, which is the best part about it, which keeps me motivated because I can never reach something that I'm chasing. So I'm always going to be chasing it, which is also making me better.
Yeah, and it's that humility, the way you've produced already to this point in your career, but then continuing to have that humility, like this could be it. Like Austin, I could tell you, unless you have something freak pop up like I did, this is not your last year. But that humility
Right.
keeps you in the gym, and that keeps
Right.
you on your recovery. That keeps you in the film room. Let me ask you this real quick. You had Pat Meyer, didn't you?
Yeah, Pat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. The
Yep.
running back's got to study pass protection when you got Pat in the room,
Oh
because I
yeah.
played for Pat in Buffalo, and those protections are not straightforward. It ain't just
No.
two jet protection, running backs going one way. You got to know where
No.
the safeties
You're
are. You got to
sorting
know what.
out people. Yeah. 3-man sort, 4-man sort, 5-man sorts, all this different stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I can attest that Austin is in his playbook. That is for sure.
Yes,
That
indeed.
that being said, I know you're in your playbook, but you have so much going on outside of football. Where does your passion for pursuing entrepreneurial opportunities, real estate, impact, where does that come from?
Ah, man, I think it stems from me seeing a home business, like a business made from home, and seeing that we can control our narrative and we get to basically benefit from the efforts that we put in. And you know, when I got to the NFL opportunity, like it felt like it was a great opportunity, which is huge. It's the biggest opportunity in my life that gives me, exposure, gives me resources, gives me this big platform to extract from. But I still feel like there's a hole in my pursuit of something, which like we were talking about it a little bit before the NFL. It's like kind of laid out. There's a playbook for it, right? You go to high school, you go to college, you go to the NFL if you're able to take advantage of all three, right? And so what I'm searching for is like, I want to start my own business. I want to have something that I have created and that has brought value to someone in some way. Like I am a part of the NFL and I'm very fortunate to be a part of it, but I did not create the NFL. I feel like I still can package up what I have as far as my knowledge, my experience, and my values, and create that to offer some other value to other people in different ways. And even it might be into myself. Or to like my close friends, like you mentioned with real estate, we have the fund. Like so that's where my entrepreneurial side comes in. That's why you see me, take advantage of media outlets, take advantage of different opportunities of learning, like from Dave, like we mentioned earlier before the show, and just getting to know people, because I think the real value for me and what I put real value in is my education, my network, right, my exposure to people, my outreach, and being able to partake and actually go and move things, actually put things into action. Like that's what I consider value. Because if I take care of those, money, yes, is valuable, but money will be a result of those, right? And more opportunities will be a result of those. And so that's where I've basically formulated and put value in. So that's why I go out and I'm doing the things that I'm doing, because those are results and those are ways that I can get more value from, other than just playing football, which is creating value, but I'm searching for more.
Yeah, and you're given this platform so you have access to these people. You can learn from so many unbelievable people because you're a popular running back. You also treat people well, and so
Right.
people want to take care of people like that. I love how you mentioned that the money will come once you bring value. I say it all the time. If you want to earn a living in life, find a way to bring value to others. And if you want to make wealth in life, figure out how to bring value to either a ton of people or valuable people. And that
Yes.
will,
Well
and
said.
honestly, when you bring value to others and that's your mindset, then you get fulfillment from that as well. And money's a byproduct of it. And so,
Bang.
yeah. And so
Bang.
And so I see you doing that out there. So I want to compliment you in that way. Of all the kind of ventures you got going, and I do appreciate how, and I say this about myself, I can have a lot going on as long as they all fall under the same umbrella, like the same
Yes.
values. Like, not that, I mean, I drink, but I don't see you out there like uh, promoting a tequila company.
Right.
Athlete platforms at your foundation, it's opportunities, and then combining all that. So all under the same umbrella. That being
Yes.
said, is there one area that you're most excited about with what you got going on? Something you want to plug?
Yeah, man. I mean, my umbrella, you just said it, you said the word opportunities is for me, I want to take advantage of opportunities as many as I can. I've spoke about that, but I also want to leave a wake behind me that gives opportunities to others, right? Bring that value in some way to others. And so I'm working on this new project. It's called Experience. It's my app that is literally like on the brink of launching within the next few weeks. So I've been working on this thing for like a year and a half. And there's a backstory on how I even got to this moment. But basically, what it is a platform where people with the community can go on there and interact in their customized way with their fans. Like, for instance, you have Tackle What's Next, your book, right? Well, if you did a signing for your book and people wanted to get it signed by yourself, they could go to your signing. But what if they're across the country? Well, now, like for instance, one of our experience, or we call them experiences, it's called Experience, spelled a little differently because my last name Experience. If they want to get their book signed by you, basically they can go on to Eric's page and be like, okay, let me get this sign my stuff. Oh, he has his book on there. He'll sign my book for whatever dollar amount you put on there. It gives them instructions how to send it to us. We verify it, send it to you, you sign it, and then there's like a return package back to them. So like we call that our sign my stuff. And then we have social media engagements, personalized videos, gaming, video chats, an item store. And so we'll continue to add on there, but we're just launching with 6. And so really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give a way for people to turn off and on and customize their own engagement on how they want to interact with their fans, and not just like a like on Instagram, but more so like really something that's a little bit more personal, that can go a little bit deeper than just someone say, hey, I appreciate your fans, like, or get a real interaction. But there always has to be that value piece from the community or from the actual talent person. So that's why they're able to set their own price on what they're willing to do for what cost.
Yeah, I like that a lot. If you could figure out a way for me to get paid to play pickleball or golf with people, I'll be signing up immediately on
Yeah,
that one. But I love that, and people have never felt closer to athletes based upon social media now. But is that genuine interaction? This can guarantee that
right,
genuine interaction and allow guys to use their platform as well. I like
right.
that a lot. All
And
right,
then
go
yeah.
ahead.
I was gonna say there's one other part of it, because I know like I talked about my value, and it's like I want to share what I say is value, or what I see as value, with others as well, because I know whether they see it as value, I know it'll be valuable to them. So there's also a part where if you came on, we would help you promote. If you didn't have your own PR team, we have a PR team that's ready to promote your book, promote whatever you have going on, promote any of your interactions that you want to promote. Like, just, we want to help you be the best version of yourself, because that in turn makes more people be inspired, get more value from you, which also helps you do more interactions, and then also helps us, as a business, make money. And so we want to help you, you help your community helps us. It is creating this ecosystem where we only win if we can help you be better.
That's really good stuff. All right. Switching gears just a touch. You're in incredible shape now. I wish towards the end of my career I focused a lot more on nutrition, but I had to stay 310 pounds,
Yeah.
305 to 310. So there's only
You look
so
great
much.
now. You look
I
great now.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm down
Yeah.
about 60 pounds now,
Yeah,
but
man, I could tell. Like, you told me you played center. I was like, you've been putting in some work.
yeah, I followed the former Charger, Nick Hardwick. I followed
Yep.
some of his plan,
Yep.
and some of his advice. He's a good friend of mine. But on a normal week, or let's just say in a normal day, what's a day eating look like for you?
Ooh, so my eating is so lame. But I think it's like
No,
that
it's
because
no, it's not, because I've heard you talk about it.
I would say lame as far as like the variety. It's pretty much the same thing every day. And for me, I hate cooking, so like I'll eat the same thing every day. I don't care. So typically in the morning, I'll have a smoothie. I'll have a smoothie with 2 raw eggs, some oats, some strawberries, and then some type of milk, whether it's almond or whole milk, depending on, my weight at the time. And so that's usually my everyday breakfast. That's during off season. During season, we have the table, so I'll eat some potatoes and a slice of ham, and then a strawberry smoothie with whey protein in it. So I eat the same thing every single morning, and then usually it's some type of rice bowl for lunch. It's like rice and chicken, turkey, shrimp, some type of carb and protein. Get the macros in, and then variety is when I go with dinner. That's when I really get my variety, whether my steak, pasta, pork chops, like some sausage. I don't know. That's when I kind of get a little bit less, I guess, regiment with my meal prep. And then every once in a while I'll have a snack and everything like that. Like, I'm not like, don't eat snacks, don't eat unhealthy. Like, for me, it's just like about doing it in moderation. So how I hold myself accountable is just not buying it. And then if I'm like, okay, I haven't had this in a while, I'll buy a bag of hot Cheetos or something, and because I know I'll eat them in the house if they're in there.
Yeah, that's exactly how I am. I
Yeah,
try to avoid keeping those types of things in the house, but shoot,
yeah,
I go back and call the Bills games. I'm going to get some wings here and there
yeah,
and all that. But when I said it is interesting, your daily, because it's the raw eggs in your smoothie, which I mean, I eat eggs every single day. I haven't done them raw. I might give it a shot. I'll tag you on Instagram
yes,
once I do
yeah,
give it a shot. But for all those out there that are looking, especially this holiday season, New Year's ramping up, everyone's going to want
yeah,
to get on a weight loss kick. What you can take away from that, and in this, I'm pretty similar in what you do. Find things that you like that are healthy and just eat them over and over. And there's nutrition experts that will say you need a variety, you need all the different colors. Okay, well, that's like once you're extremely healthy or extremely lean. Up until
right,
that point, find things you like and just repeat them over and over. It's much easier to make it a habit, and then you don't get the decision fatigue either. It's,
right,
hey, this is what I do each day, and that's fine, and I like it, and it is what it is. So
yeah.
I like that. All right, let's talk a touch of current ball. What's going on right now? The Chargers are sitting at 6-5 as we record this, likely favored in all but maybe one game the rest of the season. Confidence pretty high amongst the guys on the team.
Man, you know how these favors play out, man. Look, paper does not play football. Like, we have to go out there and play football. I'm sure there was a couple games we were favored in, in our first 11 that maybe we didn't win, or maybe that it was vice versa. We won and we weren't favored. So for us, you know how it is. Like I said, it's week to week, man. Like, we are in this scenario where we have these games that we're like down, and then we come back and win, or we'll get up and then we lose it. And it's the emotion, man. It's the love-hate relationship. We hate losing, but love just the grind of football. So, like, man, when I say confidence, yes, I'm confident in this week, that we're going to go out there and prepare. As far as the result, I have no idea what the result's going to be. I can't say on here and get on here and be like, yeah, we're going to win this game, because that's not how football works. So, and that's not what our reality has been. Our reality is, guess what? It's going to be every single minute is going to matter in this game. Just like our past, few games that we've had where it's come down to a last drive of the game. You got to go win the game right here. We were able to get that done this last game, but I'm sure it's going to be very similar coming up against the Raiders.
The NFL running backs are known for taking the biggest beating on an NFL field on every single week. We're sitting here recording this week 13 of the NFL season. What's your body feeling like?
It's funny. I talk about this a lot. It's like you try to maintain, right, as much as you can, but you're going to get beat up and you're never going to have enough time to heal. So things just linger, right? And then you get them to a point where they're manageable, and then you go play a game, and then it's like, okay, did I not make those worse? That's a plus if you didn't, but now what? No, now what else is hurting? So I just got done with that game, and now some new things I'm dealing with. Like, I'm dealing with something like a little strain in my neck. I have like a strain like in the back, like on my scapula, whatever it is, my shoulder blade that holds it down has got a little strain in it. My calf is swollen right now. And that it's just the life of a running back, right? And so it's like, all right, those are my new priorities, even though I was, treating other stuff before that. And it's just when you get this deep in the season, stuff just starts adding up. Like I said, it doesn't have time to fully heal, but you get it back to a manageable state. And guess what? You go out there and the adrenaline and just the want to, and, got to play through some pain in this game. And then, you go out there and get it done and then start the process over again.
Yeah, you run out the tunnel and you feel pretty good, but the injury rate in the NFL is 100%. And so even the guys that are out there, that just means that they didn't get dinged up bad enough to be to have to miss the game. But each and
Right.
every week, guys are dealing with things. When I went to my exit physical, so when you one day, hopefully a long, long time from now, when you exit the NFL, you'll go to Chicago or an independent doctor that will give you your analysis to see, what
Right.
they owe you workers' comp wise and all that. I had 27 different x-rays. I mean, literally from neck to toe.
Just full
Uh,
body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
there was plenty of things that I even completely forgot about. They were
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, and you separated your shoulder in 2012." I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that one."
Right.
I didn't miss any time, so you don't like it doesn't hit your bank. Like I'm always like, "Yeah, I got hurt my first 4 years in the NFL, but those were things I missed games for."
And
So
yeah,
you forget
literally
about a
just
lot.
had that same scenario where I just got an MRI on my shoulder, and my doctor, he's like, you had the same MRI done in 2018. I was like, oh no, I forgot. I totally forgot. So I relate. I can relate. Yes.
All right, tell me a little bit about the Austin Eckler Foundation. What do you hope to accomplish through your foundation?
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, it goes back through, that umbrella that you were mentioning. Like that's a really good way to put it. Like I'm about opportunities for myself, for others around me, whether I can help you create them or I can maybe give you some opportunities. And that's exactly what the Austin Eckler Foundation, that's what we're trying to do over there is put resources back into the community that communities that may be lacking. For instance, like washers and dryers, you may not see that as an opportunity, but for a kid that, doesn't have one because they're living with their parents in their car or assisted living and don't have enough to pay for, clean clothes, and they go to school and they're getting bullied out in Watts, California, like having clean clothes is an opportunity for that person just to feel normal. And so little things like that, like the weight room, right? You might just see it as a weight room, but if you're in there working out, you're building character, you're building mental toughness, physical toughness. You're learning how to, keep yourself healthy. You're learning, being around people and learning the competitive side, right? There's all these skills that can be learned from actually going out and doing things and having these resources just available that may seem normal to some people that aren't necessarily normal. So we're trying to normalize those opportunities for people. So we've given, like I said, wash and dryer, weight room. We're building another weight room. We have a project coming up. We can't totally announce it yet, but it's in the works. School supplies, when it comes to, football equipment, like tangible things people can use that they have to be the ones to take advantage of to help themselves, right? Because, when I first set out with the foundation, I was like, I want to mentor people. But then, I had some of my mentors say, that's great, but you can only control someone's capacity so much. You can only put so much in front of them. And then it comes down to them actually going out and making those steps and actually taking advantage of it in their way, right? We all have different perspectives. And so I thought that was a great point. And so from then on out, we've been focused on, like I said, the resources going back in for people to then have to take the steps to take advantage of them themselves.
That's really good stuff. And you talk about wanting to mentor people, but there's only so far you can go in that regard. I heard this, someone told me this at one point. They said, you can't always be the Coast Guard for everybody, but you can be the lighthouse that they follow
Yeah.
and navigate. So you can be an example to them by providing the resources and then living in a certain way that they want to follow you, that they are heading in your direction. And so that's really
Right.
cool. I heard you talk about the washer and dryers before. And to me, it's,
My favorite project, man.
that's
My favorite
it's
project.
unbelievable. And
Yeah.
when Sean McDermott came to the Bills in 2017, he had guys tell their stories. And one of the guys, one of our receivers, talked about as a kid, he couldn't, they didn't have a washer and dryer at home. And
Yeah.
so if they didn't have money for the laundromat, he got
Yeah.
bullied at school because of it. And man, I didn't grow up wealthy by any means, but we had clean clothes. And
Right.
so for me, hearing that and then hearing you provide that, that is so practical too. Like
Yeah.
that's something that provides an immediate impact. So well done on that. That's
Appreciate it.
absolutely incredible, brother. I got a few recurring questions for you, and we'll get you out of here. First
Yeah.
off, do you have a favorite book?
Ooh, I do not have a favorite book. No,
What's your,
I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader, man.
do you have a favorite podcast?
Not really. Not really. I listened to a couple of like financial education YouTube podcasts, but that's it. Just kind of keep up with the current state of the market.
Yeah,
That
I'll say this, especially during an NFL season, you don't have a lot of time to digest a lot, especially reading. You just don't have that
Yeah.
much time in your day. What role does your faith play in your life?
Ooh, I would say, oh, that's good. I love that question. Because faith for me, I wouldn't say I have like a traditional faith path where it's like I have a relationship with this higher being or higher presence. I really feel like for me, like we are all like tied into one, like we are one. And our opportunity right now is this moment in consciousness, right? And that's why I think another reason why I go so hard, it's because look, I only have this moment, this opportunity of consciousness for so long, and so I want to see how far and how much I can do with this before it's gone, and before I move back into the state of eternal peace. And so for me, like I understand, that's how I understand it with my faith. Like my faith is coming to peace with this is not forever. And there's different routes you can go with that, but I've chosen like, okay, I'm gonna do as much as I see good as possible for myself. And then hopefully I can help others do that as well so that they can also too take advantage of this time on this earth. So that would, I guess, be my faith, in a sense of like we are all embodied in this one experience with this earth, with this universe, with everything that is all us, in my opinion. Like this is all, we are all this, you know.
Yeah, and I see you out there trying to make that impact. You come from Western Colorado, Colorado native. What was your first car? Was it a truck?
Yes, yeah, my first car was definitely a truck, four-wheel drive. I'm Colorado, there's snow, so you better have something that can get through some snow beds.
Okay, so I know it's not the same part of the country, or it's not the same state, similar part of the country. Do you watch the show Yellowstone?
No, but when I talk about my life, some people are like, "Oh, that sounds like Yellowstone." I'm like,
Right.
"Oh, okay." Because I mean, I've ridden three bulls in my day. Like I grew up on a ranch, riding horses, elk hunting on horseback. Like I said, building fence up in the mountains. Like I grew up in a country household, and so I feel like I could probably relate to a lot of stuff that they do in that, like branding cows, calving during the winter, all that stuff. Yeah.
What's your favorite restaurant out in LA?
Favorite restaurant in LA? Ooh, I would say probably Nobu.
Yeah, so good.
Newport Beach, Nobu. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. All right, last one from me. This is what's next with Eric Wood. What's next for Austin Eckler?
What is next for Austin Eckler? What is next, I would say, is more of the same. Like I
Mm.
will be more of the same. And what that means is I'm going to continue to take advantage of my opportunities and try to broaden my horizon of impact and knowledge and networking. Like that is what I'm going to do. I could see till I die. Like that is my purpose. That's where I find my fulfillment. And that is what I want to do with my opportunity of life.
That is so good. That's so good. That's one of the first times someone said just doing more of the same. In 180 some episodes, that might be my favorite, just because
Yeah.
you're living in a way right now that is congruent on what you want to be moving forward. And I want to commend you on that. Austin, I can't thank you enough for your time. The NFL season is so busy, and I respect for you. I have so much respect for you on Tuesdays, taking advantage of this time to network, to live on the mission that you're currently on. So thank you very much for the time. Conversation impacted me, and I know it impacted so many others out there as well.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, man. Anytime, let me know.
Yep. Good luck. Stay healthy the rest of the way.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.